Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Wanda Lipscomb-Vasquez, and I'm joined by my colleague, Juan Montoya. We're thrilled to have you here today for this webinar. Over the next 60 minutes, we'll explore how human-to-human AI is revolutionizing group learning in digital age, using AI to enhance, not replace, the power of human connection. Before we begin, please confirm that you can hear me clearly and see the shared screen by popping some signal in the chat. If you encounter any issues during the program, you can also let us know via chat, and our back-end team will be there to support you. Today's session will run about 45 minutes to an hour, including a Q&A session at the end of each section and at the conclusion of the webinar. We encourage you to engage with us throughout the webinar by using the chat function. Feel free to post any thoughts, comments, or questions you have. Please note that the webinar is being recorded, and we will share the recording with you afterwards so that you can revisit the content and share it with your colleagues. If you have any further questions or need additional assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to us via the Human to Human LinkedIn page or our website, humantohuman.ai. Let's take a quick look at our itinerary for today's webinar. We'll tell you about the backstory, a vision for better online learning experience. What are the challenges we hope to face and what our solution is, and provide some practical examples. Then we'll do a deep dive into human to human and look at its features and functionalities. We'll talk about activity design and how that happens via AI assistance and customizable tools, seamless deployment and learner access, the learner experience and how engagement and assessment happens, and data-driven insights using real analytics. Before we wrap up the session, we'll tell you about the human-to-human beta program and how you can get exclusive access and early adoption. Then, of course, a second Q&A sessions just to close out any questions that you may have. So let's dive into today's topic, and I present Juan, who will share more insights about human-to-human. What would you like to share with us today, Juan?
Thank you, Wanda, and hello, everybody. My name is Juan Montoya. I'm a co-founder at humantohuman.ai, and I'm so glad to join you today. So let's start with a vision for a new kind of online learning experience. Picture this, an online course with well over 100 learners enrolled, everybody working in the course at their own pace because this is much more convenient. But at certain points during the course, 4 of them jump into a live group activity. They aren't there to watch another video, they're there to work, to get out of their hyper-personalized little bubbles and instead debating a case, running a mini design sprint, role-playing some sales negotiation, or reflecting together on a key concept. In just 20 minutes, they generate a consolidated group insight, and each of them walk away with personal, actionable feedback and with the motivation to continue with their learning journeys. We are on a mission to provide the tools to make online courses where learning is built with peers, not absorbed in isolation. And there are 4 pillars that bring this vision to life. One is facilitated peer activities. So something like structured debates, design sprints, simulations, guided reflections, where every session has a clear purpose and a pedagogically sound structure. The second pillar is team-driven companionship and accountability. Because when you have an activity with classmates, you're more likely to prepare and to show up and engage. The third pillar is personalized, timely feedback. We want each learner to leave the session knowing exactly where they advanced and what to improve next. And then there is transparent measurement for continuous improvement, so that educators have access to concise participation and outcome data, so that every new cohort gets a sharper experience than the previous one, than the last. When these 4 forces converge, motivation can rise, skills deepen, and online learning gets closer to a high-quality in-person learning while keeping the convenience of the online learning experience. But unfortunately, today's reality looks very different. We've been working with online courses for more than 10 years, and we know, let's be real about this, the state of online learning today. So, according to some studies, nearly 2/3 of learning report feeling isolated in purely asynchronous courses. That is 60% of isolation, 61% of isolation. Because In order to keep cost and logistics in check, most providers will strip out real-time interactions altogether, pushing learners into unmoderated discussion forums that few ever read. Not to mention that now they can use AI to completely fake their participation in this discussion forum. So there's near zero live interactions. So it should not be a surprise that the average completion rate in massive online courses is as low as 7%. I have the reference of those studies here in the slide for those that are interested. These numbers translate into learners dropping out of the courses, or institutions losing revenue, and instructions burning out trying to plug in the gaps. So let's see what the research tells us. After decades of learning science, it converges on a single point. Structured peer dialogue drives deeper engagement. According to social constructivism, we build knowledge by working in our zone of proximal development alongside others. The COI, Community of Inquiry framework, states that real gains in learning appear when there is an overlap of a cognitive presence, that's the ideas, a social presence, that's the people, your peers, and a teaching presence, that's the guidance. And all of the empirical evidence that has been collected after the MOOC era and the COVID era all point in a similar direction. For example, a 2024 systematic review of 48 different online course studies showed that facilitated active learning designs consistently delivers 15 to 20% higher retention and significantly greater motivation than the classic lecture-only formats. So put together, all this evidence is clear. When the dialogue is guided and purposeful, online learning keeps people engaged, retain more, and finish what they start. So that is a great vision, but it's actually a very tough reality. So here's the catch. Those learning gains appear only if the dialogue is tightly structured, actively guided, and let's be honest, if this dialogue is counted towards a grade, because otherwise students simply won't engage. So that requirement collides with 4 real hurdles that we want to tackle. First one is logistics, because forming groups, coordinating the schedules, and steering dozens or hundreds of small group conversations is really chaotic, especially at scale. Second one is cost, because hiring enough human facilitator to cover all those cohorts is just not financially viable in most cases. And even if you are able to hire the skilled facilitator, then you have a consistency problem because they will differ in style and rigor. So learners will get uneven experiences. And finally, there is assessment. Grading thousands of discussions quickly and fairly is next to impossible. So until these 4 hurdles are solved, most providers will default to ungraded forums, and the promised benefits of these interactions will evaporate. Now entering human-to-human.ai. This is the first AI-powered group facilitation solution built for online and blended learning offerings. For the first time, it is possible to run structured, guided, personalized peer activities at scale without the cost or the chaos of manual facilitation. And here are the main traits that we have built into this. Regarding the design of the activities, we have, as an educator, you design your activity, you set goals, you set the duration, the size, you provide the structure, provide instructions, and craft the different rubrics. This process gives you maximum flexibility to build the right kind of activity, and then you deploy it in an LMS, on a learning system. We'll walk you through this design process later in the demo, step by step. About the real-time AI moderation. So learners will meet synchronously to take the activity. They can chat and they can talk freely, but the AI agent is there to facilitate the session. It will nudge quiet voices, rein in digressions, enforce the time boxes, capture all the aha moments, and it will do so much more. You have a solo mode option, so you can also configure these type of activities to be taken by learners individually. That is great for private reflection or for skill drills. And the same AI guidance advantage will still apply. There is instant rubric-aligned feedback. So we have rubric-aligned assessment and personalized feedback. Each learner receives formative assessment and personalized feedback the moment the session ends. And back at the educator console, the system provides dashboard for tracking attendance, engagement, satisfaction, learning outcomes, highlighting what to keep and what to refine for next time. All of this scales seamlessly from 100 or less students to thousands of participants, because the heavy lifting is done in the cloud by AI. Okay, now before we dive into the live demo, I want to show you a few examples of how this new approach can land in your online learning experiences. So here's just some examples. For example, in STEM courses or engineering, you could have design activities or problem-solving activities where teams will move from root cause probing to concrete solution, and the AI will enforce the thinking process along all the stages and capture the conclusions at every step. In business courses or MBA courses, you can have case study debates, for example. Investor versus regulator teams will debate, and AI will be timing the rounds and scoring the quality of the evidence. In health or nursing courses, you could have reflective roundtables. Small groups could meet to analyze a patient scenario, and the AI will surface ethical themes, and it will log key takeaways. In corporate learning as well, learning and development, you could have role play, sales pitches, for example, buyer-seller pairs that will meet to practice, and the AI will be tagging persuasive moves and provide micro coaching for each of them. And finally, guided reflection for any kind of leadership or ethics course. The AI can prompt personal insights, balance the airtime, and auto-summarize all the key takeaways. Right, so let's go to the demo. Let's show you how it works in practice. In the next part of this presentation, we'll explore the platform features from activity creation to the learner experience, assessment, and analytics, showing you the power and the flexibility of this solution in action. So first of all, the activity design by educators. Human-to-human.ai empowers educators to create engaging and effective learning experience with a flexible activity builder. Let me share the screen and show you how that works step by step. Right, so you should be seeing my screen right now. Starting from the educators console in the platform, educators can create their activities. And they have multiple options to do so. So they can start from scratch. This is the one that provides maximum flexibility. You will need to fill in all the different aspects of your activity. And I will demonstrate how this looks in a moment. But why do it this way if you can have some assistance? You can, for example, select a template out of a series of templates that the platform provides. You have different templates for individual activities or for group activities. According to your needs, you can search by keyword or filter the different templates and select any one of those as you desire. Once you select it, it will load all the or preload all the information for this particular template, and then you can refine it. So that is certainly an option, and we're building more templates all the time based on the feedback that we get from our customers. But there's also this new option that we've built that is getting assistance from AI to build your own very specific personalized activity. This is super interesting. This is a new feature that we have in which basically you describe the kind of activity that you want and the AI takes care of the rest. So let's see, for example, in this case, I'm going to use this example. I'm going to read it out loud. So I want a 20-minute activity for groups of 3 to 5 university students in Arizona studying agricultural science. The topic is climate smart farming. The activity should follow a constructivist pedagogy that emphasizes collaborative learning, active exploration, and learning ownership of knowledge. Participants should be encouraged to co-construct understanding through open dialogue and problem solving. The activity should have 3 phases: introduction, group discussion, and summary. The rubric should evaluate understanding of concepts, collaboration, and practical application to real-world context. So this is just a simple description that I can add. It dives into some of the details, but it's very open for the AI to build something for me along those lines. It will take a few seconds. It just says, just a few seconds of creating your activity. And ultimately, we will land in something similar to what I showed with the templates, except it is freshly built specifically for my needs. So let's see where we landed. Okay, so we have an activity here. It's called Collaborative Exploration of Climate Smart Farming in Arizona. It has some learning objective, and I can change, of course, every little detail of this design. So I'm going to walk you through the different segments of this configuration, and this will be the same if I started from scratch, except everything will be empty and I will have to fill it in, or if I used a template, it would be pre-populated. But in this case, it just created an activity for me. So it has, as I mentioned, a learning objective. You decide the language you want to use. You decide the number of participants. So let's say I want an activity for 3 to 5 participants. I can state the participant profile, and I can give instructions for the participants. These instructions will actually be seen by the participants before they enter the room, or I can share them by email. So let's just add something simple here. Follow the instructions provided by the facilitator. Something simple. So this is just the first step, general information about your activity. Now we move to the second step, which is structure. So my activity is supposed to last 20 minutes, and I have 2 minutes of late entry allowance. So that this makes it easier to synchronize that the activity just starts when everybody is already in the room. And then I have the phases for my activity. I requested that this had 3 phases, so here they are. There's an initial phase for introduction and context. It's supposed to last 7 minutes, but I can maybe tweak this. No, maybe I just want 5 minutes here. And then I have this phase about the collaborative group discussion, and the phase has the description of what's supposed to happen in this phase. I can adjust the times as I did with the previous phase. And then the third phase, summary and reflection. Also, I can state here, what do I want this phase to be about? What do I want to happen in this phase? So I'm basically splitting the 20 minutes time I have here in these 3 different phases using these sliders, right? That is my structure. Then I go to the next step, which is AI facilitator. So I can decide and configure the parameters of the personality of my AI facilitator. I can provide a name to it. I can configure here the pace, how fast I want it to be, and how chatty I want it to be, and then how creative I want it to be. You know that the AI models have a temperature parameter that you can control. I can decide the communication style, for example. In this case, let's add, I want to be formal and professional, something like that. And then I decide all the instructions I want to provide from a facilitator in the form of do's and don'ts. I want you to do this. All across the activity, I want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. The AI already provided a very useful list for me, but I can always edit this and tweak it to my specific needs. And then phase by phase, I have the same do's and don'ts for each of the phases, so that I can control very at a fine-grained detail level everything I want that happen in each of these stages. Once I have done that for each of the stages, I go to the fourth step, which is the assessment. So the AI already created a rubric for me based on what I've mentioned. This is a classic rubric. It has 3 criteria: understanding of climate smart farming, collaboration and group engagement, application to real-world context. And for each of these criterion, I can actually enter, see the description, and also the description for each of the different levels. So what does novice level look like? What does a developing level look like? Proficient, and exemplary. These descriptions are simple. I can complete it, or I could have requested the AI at the beginning to provide longer description if I wanted, with examples or things like that. The richer my rubric is, the more effective the assessment will be and the personalized feedback will be. So I have all the possibilities of tweaking this rubric, or I can see it here before I'm ready. And whenever I feel satisfied with my rubric, I can go to the next and last step, which is availability. So selecting from when to when my activity is available for students to join. I can select date and time, starting date and time, ending date and time, and I can select a time zone just for convenience. Of course, each student will have their own time zone, but this is like a shared time zone for convenience. Now that I have created my activity, I can go ahead and share it with the group. Let's see the different options I have for sharing. I'm going to go back to the slides. Allow me a second. Let's go back to the slides. And let's see how these activities are distributed to the learners. So we have different options. The simplest option is just sharing a link. This is super easy. Out of your activity, you just copy and paste a link, a sharing link, as you see in the screen. And whenever the students access that link, they will perform a quick registration to the system, and then they will land directly in the activity page. A second option is to embed the whole human-to-human.ai experience into your system, into your platform. Using a simple embedded snippet, you can copy this snippet and paste it in any HTML-enabled platform, be that a website or your LMS or any other medium, and you can have this embedded specifically in that platform without the headers. It's very neat because it's embedded without all the periphery around it, so it looks really well integrated with your own platform. And then the third option, and the most common actually, will be to integrate this activity into your learning management system. If you have an online course, you're typically using a learning management system, and oftentimes you're consuming external tools using a protocol that is called the LTI, Learning Tools Interoperability. So this protocol is supported by most or all of the relevant LMSs, Canvas, Moodle, the OpenX platform, Blackboard, any of them will support LTI, because this is the best way to insert into your system activities or components that are served elsewhere. It has the advantage of single sign-on, so learners don't have to worry about registration or login. They will just immediately land in the activity with their session already created, with their login already happened. And at the end, so we'll have this option for the human-to-human.ai activity to pass back the grades, basically the numerical grades, back to the LMS. So these options are in place to ensure that the activities can be easily incorporated into diverse educational settings, minimizing all friction for learners. Now, regardless of the method that you use, once the student land in the activity, they will see a screen like the one you're seeing right now. They will find themselves in this screen where they have all the information about the activity, name of the activity, description. They can see the rubrics, they can see the instructions that the educator prepared for them. So they can prepare for the activity and they can decide how to join the activity from different options. They can join now, which is straightforward. Just click a button and join now. This works very well in the case of individual activities because whenever you click it, it's ready and it starts. Or in the case of group activities, it requires you to enter a little queue to wait a little bit for other participants to arrive. There are different ways of coordinating the group to make sure that they arrive at the same time. For example, in this screen you're seeing, the activity requires 4 participants and 3 of them are already in the call. I can see their faces there. So I just click on the button, the green button, because I'm the 4th one, and I will jump right into it. It will pop up for the 4 of us, and we'll start with the activity. And also, depending on the configuration, you can also have like pre-scheduled rooms. So you can have them like prepared with a time in the future, and people can add them to their calendars and join at a scheduled time. Right. So now that the learners are inside the activity, let's see how it feels. Let's see how it looks. So this is once it like started, as you can see in the screen, it looks like a chat window. Basically, you can see on the right pane there is the info of the activity, the image, the name, the details of the activity. You can see the rubric there if you want to check it, and you can see what participants are connected. You can see for each of the participants their active status. So the platform is tracking all the time whether you're active or not, whether you're typing, whether you're recording, or where you're moving your mouse. That helps the AI engine understand who is engaging with the conversation and who's not. And then in the main window, you can see that the conversation is happening. So people can type simply as you would in any chat experience, or they can record their voice. And the good thing is that we transcribe their voice for them so that people can just read your message, and it's easy to keep track of what everybody's saying, either by playing back the recordings or just by reading the words. The activity like goes on, and as you can see, like multiple people are interactive. In this case, my user is called Danny Science, and I'm interactive there. My peers are responding, and also the facilitator is engaging from time to time. The key essence of the value we're providing here is that the facilitator is not trying to be the main character of the conversation, but it's instead balancing when to interject or when to wait, depending on how the conversation is going, according to the structure that the educator created and according to the learning goal that we want to accomplish. We can do that because LMSs are really good for understanding all the language and all the context and everything that's happening during the conversation. We couldn't have done something like this, I don't know, 6 months ago or 1 year ago, because simply the power of the AI wasn't good enough. But now it is quite good. So we're excited on everything that can be accomplished now with these capabilities. Now let's see what happens after the activity finishes. As I mentioned, it's a time-bound activity. So after 20 minutes or something, the activity finishes. The facilitator will take care of wrapping up the activity for everybody and close the activity. And then after a few seconds, each learner will get this screen that you're seeing here, which is their personalized assessment. It is of course the rubric-based assessment and personalized feedback. It will identify the strengths and areas for improvement. This feedback is timely, is contextual, and is actionable, so it will help learners deepen their understanding and improve their skills in line with the learning objective and the rubric that was set by the educator. And now let's see what happens after all the activity has run. It may have been hundreds of rooms, thousands of learners going through the activity, whatever the numbers. Educators get a comprehensive analysis of everything that happened. So in this screen, you can see here, starting at the top with aggregated data, how many facilitation hours were delivered, how many learners were reached altogether, how many rooms or breakout rooms happened, how many AI tokens were spent, and all the summarized assessment outcomes. You can get a high-level overview of everything that happened. You can also have in the next section room level metrics, the number of participants in each room, the percentage of attendance, engagement rates, satisfaction scores, and the performance according to the rubric. And ultimately, educators can see individual learning metrics across all the same dimensions, all the way until each learner assessment, similar to the one we just saw for an individual learner. So educators can also see that and see all the assessment report and specific feedback. By measuring what matters, human-to-human.ai empowers educators to optimize future cohorts, track progress at scale, and continuously improve the learner experience. I will now hand it over back to Wanda to see if there are any questions in the chat regarding what we have presented so far.
Great, thanks, Juan. As you see, we just walked through the key components of the human-to-human platform, from activity design and deployment to learner experience and analytics. So based on your questions, which we're going to take a look at, feel free to pop any additional questions in there that you may have about the features as we go along. So the first question I see is, what languages can it operate?
Right. That's a great question. So it operates in many languages. As you probably know, the LLMs are very powerful at operating in multiple languages. Our current interface is built mainly in English, but the activities can happen in many languages. And during the configuration process, you can select which language you want to use. And you can even use multiple languages, because you can use this for language courses. So for example, we have made some pilots in which you use this for English as a second language, and the instructions provided to the facilitator in that section that we had, that was communication style, specifically state that they need to speak English, but from time to time they can resort to the secondary language or the learner's language to explain a particular concept or something like that. So it handles multiple languages. I'm not sure if we already support right to left, so Arabic and all the languages that work right to left. There may be some issues there, but we're working on improving our interface to make sure that lands as well really soon.
Great. It seems the next one comes from educators. Can educators modify the human-to-human interventions during an activity?
I'm not sure if that means during an activity, as in during a specific room that is live right now, that is happening with the students, or if it means during the time period where the activity is open for students to join. But in both cases, they can. We don't advise to do it, because you want consistency and you want to have the same kind of experience, the same parameters for all your rooms if you want to compare the metrics afterward. But if for some reason you realize that the first rooms informed you that some of the configurations were not optimized, certainly you can change them. And if it happens to be the case that you change them during an activity, that a room that is actually live, it doesn't matter. The AI will just take the new instructions from that point forward and just carry them.
Mm-hmm. So next question is, in what ways does the facilitator intervene? For example, would this facilitator engage with disinterested students? What if the student is factually wrong? Or what level of coaching would occur to improve the collaboration skills?
Right, that's a very good question, and it's one of the strengths of the platform that you can have it do anything you need. So if you wanted to intervene to engage disinterested students, you will instruct it to do that, and it will continually monitor the vitals. We call it the vitals of the room to see who is participating less than others, and will invite them into the conversation and prompt them to participate. You can also instruct it to confirm the whether a student is factually wrong or not. We have not yet incorporated the search the web capability, so it's not going to be searching the web to confirm a particular fact or figure. It will soon be able to do that, but not currently. But right now, it will do it with its training database. So you can actually instruct it to like confirm and flag potentially misleading facts or incorrect information. And coaching, yeah, of course, coaching to improve collaboration skills. You could always like instruct it in a particular phase or as part of its do's and don'ts, instructing on how you want it to perform, and it will just follow those instructions.
Great, thank you. So
Sure.
I don't see any additional questions at this moment, so that I believe that'll wrap up this first Q&A. We'll have another one a little bit later in the program. Oh, I'm corrected. There are two more. But maybe we can get to that in the next Q&A section. So I know you're about to tell us a little bit more about the human-to-human beta program. We're all ears, Juan.
Right, excellent. So before we wrap up, I'd like to invite you to join our closed beta program for human-to-human.ai. We're opening the door to up to 100 forward-thinking institutions or individuals that want to use this, experiment with this, not just watch, and experiment with the next wave of AI-powered collaborative learning. We've seen from our previous customers that many institutions are actually eager to test things, eager to try out what works, what doesn't. So this is a very good opportunity for that. So what we're offering here is early access, basically a license free of charge for the duration of the program. I'll explain later what the durations are. Hands-on design support. So our team will be there to support your teams as you build, as you test, as you deliver your activities. And basically a real platform to solve your toughest group learning challenges and innovate with AI today. This also gives you the opportunity, because you have a direct line, to shape our roadmap with your feedback. We're constantly building this product. As you can imagine, the AI space is very fast-paced and innovation is happening all the time. So we welcome all the feedback that these beta testers will provide to build the product in the right direction. In terms of timeline, we're going to be running this closed beta for the next 6 months, from May to December, 6-7 months, in order to give all the flexibility for institutions to like adopt this and better fit basically every organization's schedule, because we know that there's some pacing going on and different courses have different dates. So we want to accommodate as many successful experiences as possible. And we have decided with 3 commitment levels. So the idea is that every interested party will choose the one that fits better their bandwidth and their ambition, basically. So we have 3 different levels. I hope you can see the details here in the screen. Level 1 is just the simplest thing, just to try it out, hands-on, play with it. We call it level 1, beta testing. It will give you 1 month of free access with the essential tier, which basically does not include the LTI. So you can create as many activities as you want. You can invite your students to it. You can share the link, or you can embed the activity. You will have an allocation of up to 10 million tokens, which is a lot. You can run a lot of activities and a lot of different tests, a lot of students there. You will have our support via email and an allocation of up to 100 learners. You can pilot it in different activities with up to 100 learners. And the only thing we ask in return, or the only commitment that we expect in return, is for the people that do this test to just answer a survey at the end. So we want to know how it went. We want to understand what they liked, what they didn't like, what troubles they had, or what challenges they had, or what advantages they saw in their test. So that's very simple. I think a lot of people will be interested in that. We have already signed up quite a few from the AI show in San Diego, but still there are some open slots for that level if people is interested. Now, level 2, it's a little more like a higher level. It gives you the professional license, which includes the LTI capability, so you can integrate this into an actual online course. It will run for longer. It will run for 2 months. Whenever you want to start from May to this until December, you have 2 continuous months of our service and access. It has more allocations of tokens, 30 million tokens in this case. And instead of support, of course, we provide email support, but also we'll have a one-on-one session to support your team or yourself in the design process of the activity, or at any point in time, we can have this session to give you one-on-one support. It is designed for up to 200 learners, so you can scale it up and you can test it in a higher stakes scenario. And what we would expect to get from participants interested in this level is one feedback session, also like one-on-one session where we sit with you and we see together what went well, what went wrong, how we can improve the platform. It would probably be a 30-minute or 45-minute session, but it would be super valuable for us. Also, we would expect these participants to measure success, to from the start, from the design phase, create some sort of success metric and share with us so we can understand. And if it was super successful, as we hope it will be, just to be able to publish that success story. So that's super simple. It will give visibility both to your initiative and your innovation as well, and to the platform that we're building. And level 3, that's the most advanced level, also with the professional license, with the LTI integration, but it's longer. It lasts for 3 or up to 4 months, so it will accommodate a university semester if need be. It will have a lot more tokens, so up to 50 million tokens. That's a lot. I don't think they will be able to spend all that, but it's allocated. And it will have up to 2 one-on-one support sessions or more if needed. Of course, email support all the time. We will be paying very close attention to these pilots to make sure that they run super well and smooth. Up to 500 learners, which is a lot. You can deploy this actually in very large courses. And what we expect from you is only like the same: 2 feedback sessions. Instead of 1, maybe 2 feedback sessions along the way. So maybe we can fix some things along the way and improve some features. And in terms of the success metrics, we would expect that you have comparative metrics. So maybe you run a control group, or you run some comparative metrics where with some other cohort in which this tool is not used, because we want to really be able to measure the effectiveness of the tool, and how much, to what extent the tool really solved your initial challenge, in order to publish this success story with the data that backs it up. So hopefully this is super clear. You have the presentation again, so you can see all the data if you want to decide later what of these 3 different levels works for you. So if you're ready to be one of those 100 organizations that run this closed beta, just head to our website, human2human.ai, and click on a big green button that you see there, or use this QR code to access the submission form. Just a simple form. You just type your basic information, choose the tier that you want to apply for, and one of our team members will get back to you super quickly in the next couple of days to set you up with all the required next steps. I'm super excited to see what we build together. With that, I'll hand it over to Wanda for a wrap up. I think there was a couple of more questions, so let's go to those, and we can wrap it up.
Sure, great. Thank you very much for that information about the beta program. So let's address a few of the last questions that some of you had. The first one is, does it work for soft skills such as leadership, or technical skills such as programming languages?
Right. So our current version works very well for everything that can be delivered in the form of a conversation. So I wouldn't rule out the technical skills, but probably it wouldn't go I wouldn't go as far as to use it for example, code reviews, because code reviews require some other tooling and some other collaboration, tooling that the AI will not necessarily be aware of at this point. But you could certainly have, for technical skills development, you could have different types of conversations, either simulations or debates or guided reflections, the kind of things that we have been discussing, as long as they can happen in the form of a conversation. For example, leadership is certainly great because most of the leadership skills can be developed and put to the test in structured conversations. So for sure, leadership is one of the things, and management is one of the things that works really well with this current capability. In the future, like what the kind of features we're building for the future will include more collaboration options. So maybe at some point we will be able to do those code reviews and other things, but that will require some features that we're still in the process of building.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Should a review phase be added to help ensure fairness in the AI evaluation process?
Well, currently the educator can inspect and can audit all the evaluation. I'm not sure if a review phase is if that covers what this question means about the review phase, or if it refers more to like having the educator be able to edit, like amend some of the evaluation provided by the AI. We haven't built that feature, but it's something that we have considered for the near future. Not only having the educator, like the students, be able to challenge a particular assessment, and the educator be able to review it and amend it if they consider that it requires amendment, but also the possibility of having not only AI based assessment but also peer based assessment. So that's probably something that will be launching and revealing in the near future.
Okay, great. Well, those were the two questions that we had pending from the first session. So I thank everyone for their patience so that I can get to that. But all said and done, we want to thank you all very much for joining us today and for your insightful questions. We truly appreciate your time and engagement. If you have any further questions about human-to-human.ai, the beta program, or any other topic we discussed, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at our website, human-to-human.ai, or via LinkedIn. We're excited about the potential of what human-to-human can do and look forward to connecting with you in the near future. Thank you and have a great day.